Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this ATR exclusive. Now, you guys know Immortal Championship Wrestling is one of the companies that we work with, also UWE as well. And the guest who we have on right now, I have been wanting on for the longest time. I consider him one of the best heels in the New York independent wrestling scene. One half of your longest reigning tag team champions, the Sons of Allah, the one and only Blaze Haram. Blaze, how you doing tonight?
All right, man. I'm good. Feeling solid, sucker free as usual. Thank you for having me on your show, man. I know it's been a while. You've been trying to get me, but our schedule's been clashing and stuff. But I'm happy to be here, man. So let's talk. What's up?
Oh, I blame you. And when I said about being one of the best heels, I've said this for a while now. When I think of him like heels and you think of independent wrestling, and obviously because I've seen a lot of in New York, there's three that come to mind. Ben, Shane Stenson, and yourself. You guys are probably the top three heels because it doesn't matter if you're in Utica, if you're in Albany, wherever. As soon as your music hits, the crowd starts to boo you right away. You don't see that a lot now.
Yeah. But, I thank you for that. You know what I mean? Appreciate it. I don't know. I just love working the heel, man. This has always been my thing. I've always been into heels, as being a fan of professional wrestling. That's always I've always gravitated towards the heels. So.
Well, that's actually where I wanted to kind of start. Was what got you into? What made you want to become a pro wrestler?
I've been a fan since the earliest I could remember, man. I could go back as far as my earliest memory of pro wrestling was with $1 Million Man when he debuted the $1 Million Belt. Like I remember that guy as if it was yesterday, you know what I mean, watching that. And that's like my earliest memory of wrestling. But I didn't really so like early 2000, I got into it. I trained for like a couple months and stuff, but I couldn't afford it at the time because I actually trained with at Johnny Rodz' school in Brooklyn, New York for like a couple months. But, again, I couldn't afford it at the time, and financially I wasn't ready to, to invest in pro wrestling training. But, a couple years went by and I was financially stable to make that happen, to make that dream come true. And here I am,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, so when you decided you wanted to become a pro wrestler, did you ever think of yourself as being a babyface, or did you always see yourself as being the heel, the bad guy?
I always saw myself as a heel, only because of the love that I have and appreciation that I have for heels and the work that they do. It was always something that I wanted to do and pursue. And as far as the pro wrestling training went, it was easy for me to transition, being that I have a martial arts background. So it was easy for me to transition into pro wrestling, knowing the stuff that I knew already.
Yeah, and I totally get that. And you said you got your training down at Johnny Rodz, over in Brooklyn.
Well, I started at Johnny Rodz first, and then when I relocated and when I decided to, actually when I was able to afford the pro wrestling training, I started training at Extreme Wrestling Alliance in Albany with Jerry Idol, and it's just same place Christina Marie came out of, Shockwave the Robot, a couple other people, notable names, came out of that school. But yeah.
And the whole, the name Blaze Haram, how did that name come to fruition?
So Blaze is a nickname that I've always had since high school. I played high school football, so that was like, that was a nickname they gave me, and that was just a handle I had since my teens, And, it's always a name that I carried along with me, and I decided to use it with wrestling. As far as Haram goes, in Arabian culture, Haram means forbidden, So I wanted to use that name as something forbidden is good for me,
I get it. And
it's like Arabs, they have halal, which is good. Haram is bad. So for me, Haram is good, For y'all, it might be bad, but for me, it's good,
I totally get it. You said you grew up playing football. What position did you play?
I played tight end. I played a couple different positions. I played mainly wide receiver. I was a split end, but I played a little tight end. I played a little strong safety. I bounced around a lot.
I tried to play football, and people have always said to me, if I actually ever succeeded at it, I would be one of the best defensive tackles.
Nice.
But now, obviously, you have two tag teams. that people know of you with. One with Rick Recon and one with Ben Hamin. Let's start off with the Rick Recon one. How did Black Dragon come to fruition?
Black Dragon was a thought that I came up with as an idea to start a stable of heels, kind of like an offshoot of what me and Ben had going with House of Assad and the Sons of Allah stuff, you know. So Black Dragon, this is me, you know what I mean? This is what I'm bringing forth, you know. Like a lot of people, you know, Ben might be gone, but I'm still here. I ain't going nowhere, you know. So Black Dragon is kind of a new chapter to add on to the rich history that House of Assad and Conspiracy Horsemen have. You know what I mean?
And it's funny you bring up the Conspiracy Horsemen, because now with having you on, I have actually been able to pull off having all 4 of the Conspiracy Horsemen on the show at different times.
That's awesome.
Because I've had, obviously, yourself, I've had Ben, Papa Don, and Joey Conway.
All right.
But so working with Rick, you know, I guess you guys were friends and stuff and decided to form a team, I guess.
To be honest, I don't want to sit here in this interview and talk about that moron, so we could just move on to other stuff of Black Dragon.
Okay.
You know, I don't fuck with Rick Recon, and we just keep it at that, all right?
All right, not a problem.
Yeah.
Now,
but as far as Black Dragon goes, like I said, it's an offshoot of you know, basically where I'm continuing what House of Assad and Conspiracy Horsemen started, you know. So I still got as you saw, you know, we still got Z Wu sticking around, you know what I mean? So, you know, see what terror me and him can cause, you know.
Oh, I could definitely see you guys causing terror, especially over in UWE, but we'll get to that in a second. As far as you and Ben, how did that come to fruition?
So I made my debut with Immortal Championship Wrestling back in June of 2019, I believe. If you don't know, I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Man.
Yes.
Yeah, so Mr. Man basically opened the gates for me for Immortal Championship Wrestling, and you know, it's been great ever since. But as far as me working with Ben, it was a return show. Well, it was Ben was working a feud with one of the wrestlers at the time at Immortal, and Ben couldn't show up. He was legit sick, you know, so I did double duty that day. I had my match, but then I came out as a mystery opponent, basically Ben's ace, you know, to cover for Ben, you know. And from there on, you know, we just, you know, we had a very good chemistry, you know. We had a lot of similarities to a lot of the things that we like and a lot of things that we do in wrestling, you know what I mean? And why not? You know what I mean? We have similar gimmicks, so why not put them together and join a team, you know?
Oh, I've saw it, and I've been going now to Immortal since February of last year at the Immortal, I think it was Immortal Combat 4.
Yeah.
The St. Johnsville show. And every time I've seen you both of you guys go out, like I said, the second that music hits, the boos come in right away. So, like, yeah, I agree with you. You guys really do have chemistry there. Now, as far as the gear you have, and I think I may have asked you this in previous times, who was that inspired by Iron Sheik?
Yeah, you got some Iron Sheik inspirations there.
Because I noticed that, like, especially with the boots, with the point at the end.
Yeah. So the boots, you know, it's a thing that's been going around with Arabian, you know, professional wrestlers that wear those boots. You know, guys like the original Sheik, Iron Sheik has worn them. Shit, I could even go back to a tag team ad that was out of New York City in the 90s called the Headhunters. They used to wear those boots as well, you know. So, you know, it's just kind of keeping a tradition with the whole Middle East thing, you know.
No, I get that. And then
and it's a thing it's rare you see guys wearing those boots. I think as far as like the indie scene goes, I don't think there's anybody else that wears those boots besides me and Ben.
No, I'm just thinking of
you know.
No, even the shows I've been at, and not that I've been to a lot. I mean, I've been to enough, but now when you guys won the tag belts, you guys beat the Chip and Shane Stenson for them.
Correct.
Did you guys, looking back at it now, did you think you guys were going to go on such a long run like you guys did?
No, I mean, we went in with the fact like, okay, we about to, get win these titles, but as far as the reign that we had, we didn't expect to have a reign that long. You know what I'm saying? But when you're a heel tag team, it it just works. Why not have the straps on on a tag team like us?
And that's the one thing I will always say about Immortal Championship Wrestling, especially during your title, the tag title run that you guys had. The tag team scene was stacked. It was you guys. It was Edge of Hope. You had Adam Stone and Power Supply. I remember.
Yep, you have Nachi Mafia. You had all these other guys too.
Yeah, and I actually was doing the camera work for the match you guys had with the Nachi Mafia. And the biggest thing I remember from that one, this is the Guantanamo Bay match you guys had earlier this year.
Yep.
And I was in the corner, and when they started coming out and you guys started going to town on each other, I was really like, okay, I have to move out of the way because stuff is flying and I'm gonna get hit.
Yeah, and to be honest, man, now that you bring up the Nachi Mafia, as when we worked as a tag team, of all the defenses we had, I think the Nachi Mafia was like the most fun we ever had working with, man. These guys are solid, and we had a good series of matches, and it was fun working with them.
I remember, I thought you guys could have gone back and forth for longer, even.
Yeah,
and even like the whole thing you guys had with I keep saying with Adam Stone because it ended up working out that way. But Adam Stone basically became a thorn in your guys' side for a solid year almost.
Yep. Well, we had a feud with Power Supply, which branched off with me having a singles match with Adam Stone also. So that was good. Actually, that was a good match with me and Adam Stone. But again, like the most fun, doing tag team. I love working with Ben. It was fun working with him. I learned a lot from him. Every match I've had with him, when we tagged up and went out there, it was like being under a learning tree, working with Ben. So it definitely, having guys like Papa Don and Ben definitely made me a better heel,
No, absolutely. Now, as far as when you guys would come out and you guys would cut those promos before the matches,
yep.
Did you guys know what you guys were going to say beforehand? Or because I know there were certain things that you guys said that I'm sitting there going, how are you guys getting away with saying some of the stuff?
Now, as far as the camera goes, as far as promos and stuff, that's all on the fly, man.
Okay.
Me and Ben never went over stuff we were going to say. You just point the camera and we just go in,
No,
there was never a point in time that we sat down and said, all right, we're going to say this, this, and this and go over what we said. Nope. They just say, press play, start recording, and we just fucking go off,
And no, I get that. And only reason I'm saying that is there was a few times I remember sitting there, especially, when I was watching as a fan and then doing the camera work, and I'm listening to the promo, and I'm like, wow. I'm just stunned. Not in a bad way. Stunned in a good way, I guess, almost.
Yeah. And honestly, there's a lot more stuff I wish I can say, but unfortunately, a lot of these wrestling promotions are super PG, and they don't want the heat.
Well, that's what I was trying to almost get at is some of the stuff, especially some of the stuff that that was being said. I'm going, how? But then with what you're saying about it being on the fly, I'm like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense then.
Yeah.
But so now, being that Ben is with everything that happened at the Rome show, what's next now for Blaze in Immortal Championship Wrestling?
That's a good question. That's a real good question. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to find out. I just want to let the people know that Ben might be gone, but I'm still here. Kind of look at it this way. You know what I mean? Like Roman Reigns in the bloodline, he's gone. Solo took over. You know what I mean? So in our case, Ben's gone. I'm here now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but all of a sudden you have two other Samoan guys showing up behind you, calling them Guerrillas of Destiny. Then we'll know where we're going with this.
Yeah. But But I'm working. I got the pot brewing, and when Immortal Championship Wrestling gives me that call, I'll be there. And
Well, I just want to
but
make the quick transition now over to UWE here for a second, because I know
yeah.
you've been doing some stuff with them now. How did that whole thing come to fruition?
So with UWE, I've been the promoter Craig Palmer, shout outs to him. He got the whole training facility and stuff going on over there as well. I reached out trying to get out there and train with the guys. And then moving fast forward, now he's doing shows, doing the tapings for online and stuff. And he invited me over, and I came by, and I'm happy to be there.
No, and
I love what Craig got going on. And I feel it's a very good product. With potential to be something better. And we'll see what the future holds as far as UWE goes. But as far as me and Black Dragon go, Black Dragon's here. It's at UWE, and it's only a matter of time till we start hitting other promotions as well.
Well, I know for a while you were doing some stuff in Jersey with Titan Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
Any possibility of making a return to Jersey?
It's a possibility. I've been in talks with actually some people from Titan Championship Wrestling, so it's a possibility I might be making a return at the end of the year, possible.
Because now with that, do you notice a difference in the crowd at all from upstate New York compared to Jersey?
I do. Totally different culture though. From like you see the culture in Jersey when it comes to wrestling, and New York is totally different. You know what I mean? I feel, Jersey, it's a fun place to work, but I feel it's oversaturated. Like every other fucking town has a wrestling promotion. You know what I mean? And Saturdays, Friday nights, Saturday nights, those are like the indie days for shows. So coming on a Saturday in Jersey, you got like 30, 40 different feds running. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to pick and choose which shows you want to go to. On top of that, why I don't work in Jersey no more, it kind of left a bad taste with me for a while. All the promotions like bickering amongst each other. You know what I mean? Like, just shut the fuck up and run your show, man. You know what I mean? Like, who cares how much this guy makes or which wrestler works here and not there? Like, who cares? Just run your show, mind your business. You know what I mean? Just worry about what you got to do. But I feel like a lot of promoters in Jersey are too worried about what the next man's doing as opposed to just worrying about their own product. And you don't see that in New York. New York, you got all these promotions up here, and they're just running their thing, doing just fine.
I've been saying that about Jersey wrestling now for the last almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That I'll say the name, I'll say some of the names, and honestly, I don't work with these companies anymore, so I don't mind getting the heat for it. Yeah. But SWF is one company that I seriously, when they're more concerned about what other companies are doing and not worried about what their own company is doing. Yeah. To me, it's like that's why so many people, when they sit there and say, "Oh, let's go to indie wrestling," or they ask me, which one would you rather go to? I usually tell them, go to upstate New York over Jersey any day of the week.
Yeah, facts.
Because, yes, granted, there may be some issues in upstate New York, and we won't get into them right now.
Yeah.
But it's not so blatant like it is with the Jersey companies. I
feel also in Jersey, like their bullshit gets so out there that it starts, even the fans start knowing about it. You know what I mean? So it starts, if you're a fan, is one thing, you're a fan. If you're in the business, it's in the business. Trying to involve fans with business, with like wrestling business bullshit, you know what I mean? It's corny, and it just ruins your product. You know what I mean?
And I believe that's why for me, like for a while I was having where I was going to Jersey once a week, either for one company or this company. Now it's like, if I'm going to Jersey, it's maybe once every 3 months.
Yeah.
Because I'm as a fan, and even though people have said to me that I'm part of the industry because of the podcast, I still look at it as I'm a fan at first.
I mean, we're all fans at the end of the day. Shit, I'm a fan before I'm a wrestler. Being a fan is what got me in the business to begin with,
I know, and I get that. And to me, I'll still sit there and say I'm a fan, but then when I start seeing this shit and this shit, I'm like, you're basically driving the fans away in essence.
Exactly.
And nobody seems to want to bring up that part of the equation. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a regular podcaster who vicariously is in the industry. So what do I know?
Yeah, like I said, man, they should just run their shows. Shut the fuck up. Start worrying about what the next man's doing, and just do you.
Couple more questions I got for you before we wrap up for tonight. The hashtag heels over strong. Any backstory with that, or that just was just?
That's a Ben thing. You know what I mean? Being that we work heels and Ben's always been a heel, that's kind of his thing. And I just kind of, I picked up off of it and use it myself also.
Then overall, in your time so far being an indie wrestler, favorite match you've ever had?
I have quite a few matches. I had at Titan I wrestled Daisy Kills from NWA. That was a pretty good match. I could throw that up there. That's one of my probably like top 5 favorite matches. Also, damn, that's hard. Another match. When I wrestled the Patriot at Titan, it was in a tag team match. I had some good fun on that match also. But mainly a lot of the stuff I did with Ben, really, you know what I mean, was pretty dope. It was just
no, I said
fun matches.
I laughed because my former co-host, and I'm about to throw him under the bus for this one, but it's actually kind of a funny story, and it involves with Sons of Allah. Ryan Peterson, the ring announcer.
Yeah.
He said for the longest time that I was the biggest Sons of Allah fan. That I was upset when Ben lost the belt to Garrett Holiday at Cobleskill last July. Yeah, last July.
Yeah.
And I always sit there and go, yeah, I'm a fan because I'm a huge fan of tag team wrestling. And I've said this for a while. Sons of Allah to me are, if I had to do a Mount Rushmore, they are. You guys are definitely on there.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are definitely on there because of the fact that you don't see a lot of wrestlers, especially, and you were saying it before about being PG, a lot of companies being, very PG. But the one thing I always liked with you guys is you guys were always willing to push the envelope a little bit.
Yeah.
And
one thing I always want to push when it comes to wrestling, and I feel like a lot of promoters don't understand this, and it's a different day and age. Like, I understand the whole PG era and being family, PG stuff and being super family friendly, because we get kids, obviously, like kids of all ages that come to shows. But what they got to understand that violence and heat sells, man. Violence is a universal language. You know what I mean? No matter, the motherfucker could be Japanese, Arabic, Indian, whatever the case may be. Might not understand each other's language, but you understand violence.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But also with
and
you
I
guys,
feel as much as family friendly shows can be, fans will always love violence in wrestling.
Yeah.
It's just what it is, No,
Why
do you think ECW was so big,
believe me, I totally get that. And it's actually funny. I'll be in that ECW building next Saturday, actually.
Nice.
For Battleground.
2300?
Yep. I'll be doing commentary for that show.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. But I know I agree with you 100% because you look at a lot of the companies now where it's like, oh, we don't want to upset the wrong people. And I look at it this way: you're coming to pro wrestling. Damn well you're not going to get the average Joe who's going to walk up the street and go, "Ooh, what's this?" You're coming into a wrestling show. You kind of already know what to expect a little bit. Yeah. But again, that's just the way I look at it. Last question I got for you. Dream opponent, any generation, any promotion, who is it?
That's a good one. Honestly, any promotion, like, you want to go back like a old school or like current guys from today?
You can actually, I'll do you one better. If you want to do one guy from old school and one guy current, go right ahead.
All right, so one guy old school. I'd like honestly Alex Wright. You know, the WCW cruiserweight. You know, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. You know, growing up, I was a big fan of the cruiserweight division. Even though I'm not a cruiserweight myself, but you know, I've always been a fan of like the cruiserweight stuff that WCW used to do back in the day. You know, so like guys like Alex Wright. You know, I would have been nice to like have wrestle him. Now as far as current guys, shit, I'd like to wrestle Jacob Fatu. You know,
I could see that.
Yeah, wrestle him. Guys like Matt Taven, you know, I'd like to wrestle Matt Taven, you know.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah, even guys like Alex Hammerstone, you know what I mean? Richard Holiday, like I those are guys like I'd have. Homicide, shit, he's on my list. Actually, that'll be my dream match, actually. Me against Homicide. You know?
Yeah, I could honestly, with the both of with how everything is set up, I could very easily see that.
Yep.
But Blaze, I appreciate you. I'm glad we were able to finally have this happen. The door's always open for you whenever you
Absolutely,
like to come on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. You know, appreciate it. I know it's been a while, but happy to be here.
Absolutely. And before we let you go, where can the fans connect with you on social media? And do you have any shows you like to promote? The floor is yours.
Yeah. So you could you could just Google Blaze Haram. Everything will pop up there. You know, Instagram Sultan of Violence, TikTok Blaze Haram, Twitter Blaze Haram, Facebook Blaze Haram. Shit, Pro Wrestling Tees, / Blaze Haram. You want to get some fly merch. And now as far as shows, shout outs to Immortal Championship Wrestling. They got a dope show coming up, July 13th at Utica. Will I be there? I don't know. It's for me to know, for you guys to find out. But shout outs to them. They got a big show coming up. You got Minoru Suzuki, be in the house. Also Steve Macklin will be in the house, So that's gonna be a good show. Look out for the stuff that UWE is doing, look out for them. Extreme Wrestling Alliance, that's another company I work for, look out for their stuff. They've been running a lot of shows out in Pittsfield and Massachusetts and shit,
I'll put it simple. Just Google Blaze Haram. You'll be able to find everything.
There you go. Yeah.
Blaze, thank you so much for hopping on. Guys, for Blaze Haram, I'm John. This has been Around the Ropes, YouTube exclusive. We'll catch you guys next time.